Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I'm Earl Purdy. Happy New Year.
There's a call for a God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared, and everything is turning upside down. But the words I hear, they keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am. You and me, we're not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start.
Welcome, mighty companions.
Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
I'm Earl Purdy. Welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles.
We are one.
We're going to go deep. Yes, listen.
Now let's come together and understand was born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves. When you choose him, you know you choose me too. And everyone becomes a part of you. And then you will know that love is who I am. Same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
We are one. Welcome to A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
I'm Earl Purdy, and we're here to get down in the Course in Miracles. We are one. Well, Happy New Year. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I'm Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome all my mighty companions, and we're going to hit the ground running for this new year. Remember, you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it. Some of it you may find hard to believe, some of it you may find quite startling. We're not going to analyze the course. We're not going to analyze the course. It's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you, and it's the use that will show you that the ideas are true.
You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start.
Oh yeah.
Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
You and I, we are one.
Oh no, we are one.
You and I, we are one.
Yeah, we are one. Oh, we are one. I am you, and you are me.
That was Brother John Christmas at johnchristmas.com. johnchristmas.com. Mighty Companions, this is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to 2020, and we're going to get down with the Course in Miracles. This is a hardcore Course in Miracles class. It's especially geared toward people who are studying A Course in Miracles, but anyone can watch it. But this is hardcore, so I'm assuming that those who are watching this are people who are definitely interested in the Course in Miracles and are studying the Course in Miracles. We are going to be, and I love seeing all of you online. Thank you for showing up live. We are in the characteristics of God's teachers. We're going to be on page 14 in the Manual for Teachers. We're going to be on page 14 in the Manual for Teachers. We're going to start off with defenselessness, and we're going to do defenselessness and generosity. We're going to talk about what is defenselessness and what is generosity, because the Course in Miracles says that defenselessness and generosity are characteristics of the advanced teacher of God, which is the same as saying the advanced demonstrator of love. So these are not necessarily characteristics that you have yet. These are characteristics that you are going to develop as you continue the course and you continue to practice the course. So don't beat yourself up if you're not able to pull off what the Course in Miracles says that you will be doing at the point that you become an advanced demonstrator of love. My emphasis is on hearing the message that we're receiving from the Course in Miracles. It's not on analyzing the Course in Miracles. I am not an analyzer of A Course in Miracles. I've been doing it for 40 years this year, and I'm telling you, I'm not interested in analyzing the Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles says analyzing the Course in Miracles just destroys the meaning of the Course in Miracles. So what we want to do is hear the Course in Miracles and get clear about what it's saying. And we're going to be on page 14, and we're going to be on defenselessness in the Manual for Teachers. I'm going to read through what it says about defenselessness, and then we're going to go through it and get a clearer understanding of what the message is. Be sure to share this video. I would appreciate that, because I can feel your energy and I know we're going deeper. So I'm going to read defenselessness from the Manual for Teachers, page 14. God's teachers have learned how to be simple. God's teachers have learned how to be simple. God's teachers have no dreams that need defense against the truth. God's teachers do not try to make themselves. God's teachers' joy comes from their understanding who created them. And does what God created need defense? No one can become an advanced teacher of God. No one can become an advanced teacher of God until he fully understands that defenses are but foolish guardians of mad illusions. The more grotesque the dream, the fiercer and more powerful the dream's defenses seem to be. Yet when the teacher of God finally agrees to look past defenses, the teacher of God finds that nothing was there. Slowly at first, the teacher of God lets himself be undeceived, but the teacher of God learns faster as his trust increases. It is not danger that comes when defenses are laid down. It is safety, it is peace, it is joy, and it is God. So let's go back through that. So good to see all of you online. So wonderful. Page 14, the Manual for Teachers, the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. So the first thing that it says is a teacher of God A teacher of God, a demonstrator of love. I'm going to give you the Course in Miracles definitions of these terms. I'm going to sometimes substitute the Course in Miracles definitions of these terms. I want to do the Course in Miracles in as plain a language as possible. And so God's teachers, love's demonstrators have learned what? How to be simple. So what is the first thing that a person needs to do if they want to be a teacher of love, if they want to be a teacher of God? If you want to be a teacher of God, you have to learn how to be simple. You have to learn how to be simple. So how do you become simple? Well, it says they have no dreams that need defense against the truth. So the first thing is I don't have any perceptions, any ideas, any thoughts, anything that I'm imagining that I am going to defend. So I'm not going to defend anything. I don't defend A Course in Miracles. I don't defend the way I live my life. I don't defend the way that I think. I don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore after 40 years of working with the Course in Miracles. There's no need for me to defend. So since I can think what I want to think, since I can give the meaning that I want to give, and I can choose how I want to live my life and how I want to see things and what I want to believe and what I want to live, then there's no need for me to defend the truth. There's nothing in my experience that I want to defend. So if you want to be a teacher of God, you have to learn to be simple. How do you learn to be simple? You have no dreams, no fantasies, no desires that you need to defend against the truth. What is the next thing that you would do if you really wanted to acquire the more advanced characteristics of a teacher of God? It says you recognize that you don't try to make yourself. The Course in Miracles says you did not create yourself. 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 So a teacher of God, they don't try to make themselves, because the teacher of God, a true teacher of God, knows they did not make themselves. So what's another characteristic of defenselessness? What's another characteristic of a teacher of God? The Course says their joy comes from their understanding who created them. So as a teacher of God, when you're happy, as a true demonstrator of love, as a true demonstrator of truth, as a teacher of God, where does your joy come from? Your joy comes from the fact that you know that God created you, that love created you. That's where your joy comes from. You are happy because I know God created me. That's where my joy is coming from. I know that love created me. I know that truth created me like itself. I know freedom created me. I know innocence created me. I know the unlimited creator of the universe created me. That's where my joy is coming from. It's not coming from power. It's not coming from money. It's not coming from physical pleasure. It's not coming from anything that I can achieve in the world. My joy is coming from the fact that God created me. I understand that love created me. I understand that love created me, that God created me, and that's where my joy comes from. That's where a teacher of God's joy comes from. Where does the teacher of God's joy come from? It says the teacher of God's joy comes from their understanding of who created them. So where is your joy going to come from? Your joy is going to come from understanding who created you. Your joy, your true joy, is going to come from understanding what created you. And does what God created needs defense? If God created you, then why would you need defense? Why would you need to defend yourself if you knew that God created you and you were conscious of who you really are as a child of God, and you were also in communication with God? No one can become an advanced teacher of God until he fully understands that defenses, which is just another word for our plans. The Course in Miracles teaches that defenses are plans, that's one definition of defenses is plans. The Course in Miracles says the only reason why you make plans is because you don't really believe that God is going to take care of you, and that if you don't take care of yourself, you think you're not going to be taken care of. Of course, this doesn't apply to you if it doesn't apply to you. But I'll say it again. The Course in Miracles says the plans that we make are defenses. They're the proof that we don't believe that we're going to be taken care of by our Creator. So we have to take care of ourselves. And so we make up a lot of plans. Plans are defenses. Now, the Course in Miracles teaches that what you want to do is learn how to carry out God's plan, not carry out your plan. You want to learn how to carry out the plan of God. And so if I really knew that God was going to take care of me without a shadow of a doubt, then I wouldn't be planning. I would just be following God's plan, and I would just be extending love. Now remember, we're talking about the characteristics of an advanced teacher of God. We're not talking about a beginner. We're not talking about somebody who still primarily is just believing that they're separate from God and that they have a lot of fear and guilt, and they just think they're a body and they just think they're a person. We're not talking about that mind. We're talking about the characteristics of an advanced teacher of God. And that's what we are going to learn to be through the application of the ideas in A Course in Miracles. So no one can become an advanced teacher of God until he fully understands that defenses are but foolish guardians of mad illusions. So what does that mean? It just means the more grotesque your illusion, the more grotesque your fears, the fiercer and more powerful your defenses seem to be. So when the Course talks, it's only talking about love or fear. Love or fear. It's saying that you're either fear-based or you're either love-based. You're either coming from love or you're coming from fear. And if you're coming from fear, you're full of all kinds of plans to defend. If you're coming from love, then you don't feel in the need to defend because you know you were created by love and you were created by God and you know who created you. And so you would know you were totally safe. But until you get that level of faith, that level of connection, then you're going to feel a need to defend. You're going to feel a need to guard and protect yourself all the time. So you need to do whatever it is you think you need to do to not increase your fear. So you get as many burglar alarms as you think you need. If that wouldn't increase your fear. So don't misperceive what I'm saying. I'm talking about and I'm sharing what the advanced teacher of God, how you're going to be when you actually apply the ideas of the Course in Miracles to the point that all of your fears have been undone and released, which is the goal of A Course in Miracles. He says, yet when the teacher of God finally agrees to look past the illusions, past the fears, then he says the teacher of God finds that nothing was there. So a teacher of God, an advanced teacher of the Course, an advanced practitioner of the Course is not focusing on their fears. They're trying to learn how to look past their fears to the truth, how to look past fear to love. They're not focusing on everything that they feel like they need to protect or defend. It's saying that when the teacher of God finally agrees to look past their illusions, to look past their fears, it says, then you find that nothing was there to be afraid of in the first place. The next sentence says, slowly at first the teacher of God lets himself be undeceived. Slowly. So what did it tell us? This is a slow process, that you're slowly letting yourself recognize the truth. Most people are slowly letting themselves recognize the truth. Most people are slowly acquiring the characteristics that the Course in Miracles says are the characteristics of the teacher of God. Slowly you do what? Slowly at first you let yourself be undeceived. Slowly at first you let yourself be undeceived. Slowly. You let yourself be undeceived slowly. You let yourself be undeceived. Do you know what happens when you lay down your ego's plans? Do you know what happens when you lay your defenses down? It's not danger. You're not going to be in danger because you're not defending yourself anymore. You're not going to be in danger because you're not defending. You're going to be safe when you stop defending. You're going to be at peace when you stop descending. You're going to have joy when you stop defending. It's not danger that comes when defenses are laid down. It is safety. It is peace. It is joy. And it is God. Now, let me explain my purpose as a Course in Miracles teacher. I've been doing the Course in Miracles full time for over 30 years. And the one thing that I've gotten clear about working with the Course in Miracles for so long, and I'm going to say it to you over and over again, whether you believe it or not, it's only your ego that's always analyzing the Course in Miracles. You may think it's your spiritual self that's analyzing the Course in Miracles because it wants to get a better understanding of the Course in Miracles, but it's really not. It's really your ego. It's really the part of you that has been trained by the world that thinks that you are separate. That's the only part of you that analyzes. The spiritual part of you just accepts. The ego analyzes according to the Course. And so I don't analyze the Course. If you read the Course, you will know that the Course says over and over again, don't forget, remember this. Don't forget, remember this. Don't forget, remember this. And that's what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on remembering what the Course in Miracles is saying. I'm focusing on using the ideas. And that's what my classes, that's what my videos, that's what they are focused on. I'm the divine repetition teacher, the divine remembering teacher. So that's what I'm about. I just want to be clear for everybody that's tuning in. And if there's anybody that's tuning in to me for the first time, my approach to the Course in Miracles is not trying to fit it into your old thought system. It is not trying to analyze. It's not trying to answer the questions, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. No. The characteristic of an advanced teacher of God is that you learn how to be simple, that you don't have any dreams that you're trying to defend against what the truth is teaching. You recognize you didn't make yourself, that there was something greater than you that created you. You also have no illusions, no ideas, no fantasies that you are ready to defend against the truth. You're ready to look past your fears. You're ready to look past your guilt. And you will then find that nothing's really there to be afraid of if you really do that. It also says that you slowly let yourself be undeceived. So you take your time. There's no rush. Then it says it's not danger that comes when your defenses and plans are laid down. If you are an advanced teacher of God, what happens when your defenses and plans are laid down is that safety comes to you, peace comes to you, joy comes to you. It's God that you experience. That's what happens with defenselessness. I remember the first time it was in a workbook lesson that it talked about. I think it was the one that's sickness is a defense. No. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. It's one right around it's the one about, no, if I defend myself, I'm attacked. That's what it is. If I defend myself, I'm attacked. And he talks about plans, and he talks about planning. And he talks about how the Course in Miracles talks about how the healed mind doesn't plan. It carries out a plan. So to me, that was the part that most people skip over. It says the healed mind doesn't plan didn't mean that the healed mind doesn't have a plan. It says the healed mind is carrying out the plan that's coming from the Creator. So to people around you, it will be looking like maybe you're planning, but you're really just carrying out a plan. So now I'm going to go to generosity. And I see you, mighty companions. And that's right, Kim. You said, decide for me, Holy Spirit. That's right. You want to get to the point that the Course in Miracles is a spiritual teaching. It's not a self-help book. It's not a regular self-help book. It's not a book that's about teaching you how to take care of yourself better. It's not a book that's trying to get you to go to your own wisdom and your own intelligence. It's a book that's trying to get you to get out of the way to let your higher self communicate to you and extend love through you. Then you'll have the kind of world you've always dreamed of. Because your world is a projection of the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs that you have in your own consciousness. That's what's determining what you see. What you're seeing is a reflection of your beliefs. That's what you're seeing. And if you ever want your world to change according to the Course in Miracles, you have to change your thoughts. You have to change your perceptions. You have to change your perceptions. And you have to be trained to do that. It's not something you can make up as you go along. So now I'm going to read generosity. Generosity. Listen to me now. The term generosity has special meaning to the teacher of God. generosity is not the usual meaning of the word. In fact, it is a meaning. The true meaning of generosity must be learned and learned very carefully. Like all the other attributes of the teachers of God, generosity rests ultimately on trust. Generosity, 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 generosity rests ultimately on trust. Generosity rests ultimately on trust. For without trust, no one can be generous in the true sense without trust. Listen to me now. To the world, listen to Earl. To the world, generosity means giving away in the sense of giving up. To the world, generosity means I've given something away in the sense that I've given something up. To the teachers of God, generosity means giving away in order to keep. You give away in order to keep. Giving away in order to keep has been emphasized throughout the text and the workbook. But giving away in order to keep, giving something away in order to keep it, is perhaps more alien to the thinking of the world than many other ideas in our curriculum. The greatest strangeness of the idea of giving something away in order to keep it lies merely in the obviousness of its reversal of the world's thinking. In the clearest way possible, listen to me now, in the clearest way possible and at the simplest of levels, the word generosity means the exact opposite to the teachers of God and to the world. Listen to me now. The teacher of God is generous out of self-interest. The teacher of God is generous out of self-interest. This does not refer, however, to the self of which the world speaks. We're not talking about the self that has the social security number. The teacher of God, the demonstrator of God, the teacher of God does not want anything he cannot give away. A teacher of God does not want anything he cannot give away, because the teacher of God realizes what he cannot give away would be valueless to him by definition. What would a teacher of God want something for that they couldn't share or give away? The teacher of God could only lose because of something that they couldn't share or give away. The teacher of God could not gain through something that they could not share or give away. Therefore, the teacher of God does not seek what only he could keep. A teacher of God does not seek what only he or she could keep. Listen to me, because seeking something that only the teacher of God could keep is a guarantee of loss. The teacher of God does not want to suffer. The teacher of God does not want to suffer. Why should the teacher of God ensure himself pain by wanting something that only he could have? But the teacher of God does want to keep for himself or herself all things that are of God, and therefore for you as God's child. These things are the things that belong to you, the things that are of God: love, freedom, peace, eternal life, your spiritual self, real joy, real happiness. These are the things, love, that belong to God's child. And you can give away love and peace and joy and freedom. All the things that belong to you that come from love, you can give those things away in true generosity. And when you give something away in true generosity, do you know that you are protecting those things forever for yourself? Okay, that was generosity. Okay, let's go back and look at that. I love that you're all here with me. Now listen. It says the term generosity has special meaning to the teacher of God. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the meaning of generosity isn't the same meaning that the world gives. It's not the usual meaning of the word. It says that the course tells you right off the bat. It says the meaning of generosity is not the usual meaning of the word. That when the Course in Miracles says generosity, it's not talking about the usual meaning of the word. As a matter of fact, the Course's meaning of generosity is a meaning that must be learned. And it's a meaning that you have to learn very carefully. Did you hear the instructions? I want you to learn the meaning of generosity, and I want you to learn this meaning very carefully. It's not the usual meaning of the word generosity. It's not the meaning that the world teaches you. Listen to what the Course in Miracles is saying. Like all the other attributes of God's teachers, generosity rests ultimately on trust. Because you certainly can't be a generous person if you don't have any trust in your abundance. If you don't have any trust in your abundance and the abundance of God, if you have no trust that you are sustained by the love of God, then you're certainly not going to be a generous person. You're certainly not going to be a person that is generous in the true sense. A person who is generous from the perspective of lack consciousness is a person that's generous only because of what they think they're going to receive in return. They're giving out of a sense of lack. So it's never really true generosity. They're giving only because they think they're going to get something better back, which isn't true generosity. So if I really trusted in God, I would be generous because I would know that I would always be provided for. I would always be taken care of. And then the Course in Miracles says that the word generosity doesn't have a meaning the way that the world thinks of generosity. And the Course in Miracles explains that. It says, to the world, generosity means giving away in the sense of you've given up something. I have a baseball. I gave it to you. I don't have the baseball anymore. So in the world, we think whenever I give you $5, I don't have $5 anymore. That the world thinks of generosity in terms of giving up something. You're generous because you've let something go. You've given it up and you didn't get something equally valuable in return, maybe. So the Course in Miracles says, to the world, to the ego, generosity means giving away in the sense that you've given up something. But it says in the next sentence, to the teachers of God, the term generosity means giving away in order to keep. So when you're being generous, from a spiritual perspective, you're giving it away so that you can keep it. And then the Course in Miracles goes on to tell you what it is that you can give away and that you can keep. And then it talks about how it's been emphasized throughout the text in the workbook that giving away in order to keep is perhaps more alien to the thinking of the world than many other ideas in the Course. There's nothing more alien in the idea of the Course. There's nothing more alien in the ideas that the Course in Miracles teaches than the idea of freeing something so that you can have it, giving something away so that you can have it. And it's totally the opposite of what the world of the ego teaches. The world teaches you hold on to everything as long as you possibly can, as tight as you possibly can in order to keep it. The world does not teach you that you give away whatever it is you want to have. If I want peace, I have to share peace. If I want love, I have to share love. If I want safety, I have to be safe. I have to give. If I want freedom, I have to give freedom. If I want truth, I have to give the truth. Whatever I want to keep, I need to give it away. That's when an advanced teacher of God realizes that anything that's important to them, they need to give it away. Now, we have a tendency to think in terms of physical things, but every physical thing is the reflection of an idea. It's the idea of money that creates physical money. It's the idea of a car that creates a physical car. It was the idea of the Course in Miracles book that create the Course in Miracles book. Everything that you see in the physical world is a reflection of an idea. So the Course teaches that ideas are actually realer than physical forms. Physical things can be destroyed. Ideas cannot be destroyed. If you destroy your Course in Miracles book, or you lose your Course in Miracles book, then the idea behind Course in Miracles books has produced thousands and thousands of Course in Miracles books, so you just go out and buy another book. So the ideas are real. The physical form isn't. So when you think about being generous, you want to be generous with the ideas of truth. You want to be generous with the ideas of love. You want to be generous with the ideas of oneness and innocence and peace. The Course in Miracles gives thoughts and ideas much more reality than it gives the physical reality, because the physical reality is just a reflection of some ideas. And so it says the teacher of God is generous. That as a teacher of God, as a demonstrator of love, as a demonstrator of truth, then a true demonstrator, a true teacher of God is going to be generous, but they're going to be generous out of self-interest. In other words, I'm going to be generous out of self-interest, but I'm not talking about the self that the world speaks about. I'm not talking about my ego, my personality. I'm talking about my true spiritual self, that being that I am for real. Your real self is nothing but love. Teach only love, because that's what you are. You are love. The Course in Miracles teaches that you are love. And so out of your own self-interest, you want to make sure that you share love, that you give love, that you express the ideas of love. But then it says something really, really radical. It says the teacher of God doesn't want anything he can't give away. So when you become an advanced teacher of love, when you become really advanced on your spiritual path, you're not going to want anything that you can't give away. You're not going to want anything that you can't share. So one sign of a person that's really becoming awake is that they want to share what they value. They don't want to limit what they love and what they value. They want to share what they love and what they value. It says it right here. The teacher of God does not want anything that the teacher of God cannot give away. Because anything the teacher of God can't give away, they realize that it's valueless to them by definition. So if I can't give it away, it doesn't have any value. If I can't share the truth with you, it doesn't have any value to me. If I can't share love with you, it doesn't have any value. If I can't share peace, then it doesn't have any value. If I can't give you peace, then I don't really value peace, because whatever is valuable, it has to be something that I want to give away. And the Course in Miracles says it right here. It says, what would the teacher of God want something that they couldn't give away for? The teacher of God could only lose because of something that they cannot give away. The teacher of God could not gain or benefit through something that they cannot give away. So let's make that very practical. Name me one thing in this physical world that you can hold on to and take with you when you leave here. Tell me one single thing. I defy you to tell me one physical thing you can take with you when you transcend and leave the body. I defy you to tell me one single physical thing that you can take with you when you leave here. And that's what the Course in Miracles is saying to us. Because really the only thing that you can really keep to yourself is something physical. And anything that you can't share is going to ultimately be something that you lose. Because if you can't share it, it doesn't have any reality. So the advanced teacher of God is a person that knows that they don't want anything that only they can have. They want things that everybody can have. Love is something all of us can have. Peace is something all of us can have. Unity is something all of us can have. Joy is something all of us can have. The truth is something all of us can have. So anything that's real is something that all of us can have. It says it right here. He does not seek what only he could keep, because that is a guarantee of loss. And guess what? I don't want to suffer. And so when I feel like I've lost something, it causes me to suffer. So why would I want to ensure myself pain by only wanting something that I'm going to surely lose, and I'm going to invest all of my attention into something that I can't keep? So you cannot lose anything that's real, and anything that is not real, you're guaranteed to be separated from it. And that's why a conscious being starts to put all of their energy into ideas, things that create the idea of love, the idea of truth, the idea of God, the idea of the Holy Spirit, the idea of light, the idea of truth. The idea of truth creates truth. The idea of love extends love. So why would I want to focus all my attention on something that I'm going to surely lose? That just ensures me of pain. But what should you want to keep for yourself? What is it that you should want to keep for yourself? Well, the Course in Miracles says, well, you do want to keep for yourself all things that are of God. You want to keep all things for yourself that are of love. Because everything that's of God, which is love and joy and peace and abundance and truth, these things are the things that belong to you. These are the things that you can count on. So you can give away the truth, love, peace, joy. You can give those things away in true generosity. Because when you give something away in true generosity, then you are protecting it forever for yourself. When you give something away in true generosity, you are protecting it for yourself. Now listen to me one more time. See, I'm giving the Course in Miracles away to you right now, right? So every time I share the Course in Miracles with you, I remember the Course in Miracles. I've been teaching the Course in Miracles and learning the Course in Miracles for going on 40 years. So that means every time I've shared the Course in Miracles, it has increased the Course in Miracles principles within my own mind and within my own life. Why? Because every time I share these ideas, that allows me to have these ideas and to keep these ideas and to remember these ideas. And the Course in Miracles teaches that everything is an idea. It says it in the text. Everything is an idea. And so whenever you share an idea, you increase the idea, but you also keep the idea for yourself, but now it's stronger. If I share the idea that you give away in order to keep, then I still have the idea of giving away in order to keep. Now you have the idea of giving away in order to keep. So now the idea of giving away in order to keep has now become a stronger idea. So it will manifest faster for both of us within our own perception and within our own consciousness, because what we focus our attention on increases. What we give away to each other and share with each other increases. That's why, to me, it's so much more powerful when I watch in the comments that you all are repeating as best you can what the Course in Miracles is saying, because that means that we are all sharing the same ideas of love, and therefore we are increasing that idea from the Course, and we're also making it stronger for ourselves at the same time. All of the analyzation is just breaking it down and destroying the meaning and probably confusing the hell out of the person, which is not strengthening the idea at all. So what's more important? There's nothing more important than remembering what it's saying. So when the Course in Miracles talks about being generous, it's really talking about being generous with the truth, giving away in order to keep. Give it away in order to keep. The Course in Miracles says in one of the workbook lessons that what you give away will come back to you magnified in proportion to what a candlelight is to the sun. And think about the difference between the light that comes from a candle and the light that comes from the sun. That's the level of return that you're going to get from sharing ideas of love and truth and innocence from the Course. So when it's talking about being generous from a Course in Miracles perspective, it's talking about being generous with your love, with the truth, with forgiveness, with the idea of freedom and the idea of light and the idea of joy and the idea of peace. I'm going to keep it simple, because what did it say? It said that the teacher of God keeps things simple. Keeps things simple. And remember, when it talks about defenses, the Course in Miracles says that a defense is a plan. that you come up with because, frankly, you don't have faith in God. And you really believe that you have to take care of yourself. And that's understandable because that's what we've learned. And we see and experience and perceive what we have learned. Perception is learning. The Course in Miracles says perception is learning. So whatever you're seeing is what you've learned to see. So using your perception is not a valid way to validate anything because your perception is just going to reflect what you believe and what you've learned. Your perception is going to validate what you believe. What you see is going to validate what you believe. What you perceive is going to validate what you believe. What you see is going to validate what you believe. If you believe that the world is a dangerous place with everybody out to get you and you can't trust anybody and you're alone and you're separate and you're guilty, that's what you're going to perceive. That's the kind of people you're going to draw into your life. That's the kind of validation your universe is going to give back to you, and you're going to believe it. So if you're constantly giving away ideas of fear and anger and attack and judgment, that is going to be what you increase in your life because what? Whatever you give, that's what you receive, and then you receive it back more than you gave it. That's a universal law. So are you going to give away thoughts of fear and conflict and anger and separation? Are you going to share thoughts of love and joy and peace and happiness? You give it away in order to keep it. You give it away in order to keep it. And if right now in your life you see people that love you, you have work that you do that's fulfilling to you, and you enjoy your life and you feel good on the inside, then you can pretty much assume that you have some pretty cool beliefs. But if you see people mistreating you, you see anger and attack and no support, then you have some beliefs that you need to take a look at. You have some thoughts you need to stop sharing, frankly. And then there's some other thoughts that you need to start sharing, and those are the thoughts from A Course in Miracles. Those are the things that come from God. Those are the things that come from love. Those are the things that says that you can give away, and you should give away, in order to keep those things for yourself. Okay, so take a breath. Take a breath. Okay, so I'm going to go back over this, and we're going to focus in on the good points because I want to be, I want to keep these classes to around an hour, and I want to put more of the emphasis now on us remembering what it's saying, more so than the analyzation of it. I'd like to thank you. I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles and New Thought, and so I really appreciate any financial expressions of appreciation that you feel like sharing. And if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, just go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, earlpurdy.com. And also you can use Venmo. And my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Now, those of you who really want to get some personal work with me so that I can share with you at a very deep personal level about how to apply these principles in your life, I do what you call clarity sessions. I've been a soul purpose astrologer and numerologist for over 40 years. And that is another way that the universe and spirit communicates truth to us and gives us guidance and insight. And if you would, if you're open to that during the clarity session, and that's what I call what I do, clarity sessions, because that's what you walk away with a lot more clarity, especially going into this new year. Then go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can self-book a session with me, and you get more details about my sessions. Also, sign up for my contact list so that I can make you aware of any private classes, advanced classes, and seminars, which I will be doing, especially in this upcoming year. I'm going to go deeper for those who want to go deeper. I'm so excited. I can feel that this is going to be a very powerful year of breakthrough for all of us. So, do yourself the favor of joining with me and having a clarity session so that we can get past whatever the blocks are that you think you have to having the kind of life and experience you want. You do not have an original problem. There are no original problems. And there is not a problem or situation that you can present to me that the Course in Miracles does not address or give you another way of handling it or looking at it, as well as me being able to look at your astrological and numerological chart. So I just want to let you know, on Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do a Facebook Live, A Course in Miracles, in front of a live audience on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. And of course, on Thursdays, we have our Hardcore Course in Miracles group. And I love y'all. I'm so glad you're online with me. And we're going to be going deeper this year. That's at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. If you don't have a Facebook account and you want to tune in live, just go to www.facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. www.facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. Okay, so let's do a quick review, because it's about defenselessness and generosity. So what is it? Now, if you're going to be a true teacher of God, a teacher of God has learned how to be simple. Learn how to be simple. Learn how to be simple. The Course in Miracles teaches that complexity is nothing but a smokescreen, that your fear, your ego, gives you to hide the simplicity of what the Course in Miracles is teaching. You don't want to have any dreams. You don't want to have any fantasies. You don't want to have any ideas that you want to defend against love or defend against the truth. The Course in Miracles is one form that the truth comes in, and you don't want to have anything that you put before the truth. So what's the number one thing that you should do? It says you should remember that you shouldn't try to make yourself. You didn't create yourself, so you shouldn't try to make yourself. Then the Course says, if you really want to be happy, if you really want to have some true joy, that true joy is going to come from understanding that God created you, that an unlimited loving creator created you. And if God created you, if love created you, why do you need to be defended? Why do you need to be protected from something? Now, you cannot become an advanced demonstrator of love until you understand that all the plans that you make are just foolish guardians of your false ideas that you have about where your true happiness and safety come from. And the more afraid you are, the more guilty you feel, the more you're locked into the teachings of the world, the Course says, the more you're going to defend, the more that you're going to feel like you need to defend. So you got to do what? The Course says you've got to slowly let yourself be, you got to slowly let yourself be undeceived. So every time you study the Course in Miracles or any wisdom text, you're allowing yourself to be undeceived. There are but two ways of thinking. The way of thinking that's true and the way of thinking that's not true. And you can tell when you're thinking in a way that's not true. When you're thinking in a way that's not true, you have fear, anger, guilt, and grievances, and sickness, and lack, and attack, and depression, and sadness, and that's the way you're thinking a lot of things that just flat are not true. Then the Course in Miracles says you learn faster as your trust increases. So as your trust increases in the higher power, as your trust increases in love, as your trust increases in who you really are, as you lay your defenses, your plans, and you want to learn what God's plan is for you, then the Course says that's when you're going to have safety. That's when you're going to have peace. That's when you're going to have joy. That's when you're going to experience God. When you are no longer defending yourself all the time. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Generosity. Now, if you're going to be a generous person from a Course in Miracles standpoint, we're not talking about generosity from the level that the world does it. We're not talking about giving your sofa away to somebody who doesn't have one, even though that's a fine thing to do. We're not talking about generosity the way that the world talks about generosity. Because you can't really be a generous person if you don't trust that you are sustained by the universe and that you are sustained by God. So in the world, when we think we are being generous, we think we're giving up something that we don't have anymore because we gave it away. But the Course in Miracles says that true generosity is giving away in order to keep. I'm going to share my peace with you in order to keep peace. I'm sharing this truth with you in order to keep this truth. And this has been emphasized, and it's the strangest idea in the Course in Miracles, that if you really want to have something, you need to share it. Because the more you share it, the more you strengthen the idea of it, and it's the idea of it that creates it. So generosity means just the opposite to the teacher of God than it means to the world. So you should be generous. You should be generous out of self-interest. You should be generous because you know it's going to make your life better as well as the life of someone else. But when I say yourself, I'm talking about your real self. I'm talking about your divine self. I'm not talking about that ego self, that part of you that gets afraid and angry and attacks and projects and blames. I'm not talking about that self. If you are really an advanced teacher of God, you don't really want anything that you can't give away. You don't want anything that you can't share. Because anything that you can't give away is going to be something you're going to lose one day. Think about it. There's not one physical thing that you have that you're taking with you. Not one. So if you put all your emphasis on trying to hang on to your physical things without being generous with your love, with your being, with the truth, then you're just ensuring yourself of the pain of separation one day. Everything that belongs to God belongs to you. Nothing that's unworthy of God is worthy of you. And so those things that come from God, like peace and love and joy and unity and oneness and eternal life, true safety, true joy, ideas of love and safety and joy, all those things, you need to share those ideas. You can give those ideas away in true generosity, and that protects it forever for yourself. So share whatever you want to receive and remember. Mighty companions, I feel so good going into 2020 with you. I'm excited about what we're going to do. There are lots of ideas that Spirit is giving me to share. I hope we get to know each other a lot better. That this is not just some impersonal class, that this is actually a time that we as mighty companions come together to join on these ideas of truth so that we can truly have and experience true generosity and true defenselessness. So I'm Earl Purdy. Thank you for tuning in for this wonderful, incredible first Hardcore Miracles class of 2020. And know that it doesn't, I have thousands, literally thousands of classes, hundreds of classes on my website and hundreds of classes on YouTube and on Facebook. So there's a lot of support that you can watch online with videos that I do. And I want to ask you to share them. So you have a lot of support going into the new year. And if there's any way I can help you with my clarity sessions, I'm willing to do that. But do you think you're worth consistent effort? I hope so. I appreciate you. I love you. And may the Course be with you. Share this video. See you next time.